Hi.
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 Great.
How are you doing? I'm prefacing this by saying I've never done anything like this before. I'm super nervous.
Oh, don't be.
So excited to meet you. You have no idea. I've been like pissing my pants the last 3 days. But how are you? How are you doing?
I'm good today.
Yeah. Thank you for meeting with me.
Yeah.
I love your little studio that you have going on. I just have my bedroom. That's all I've got.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I got to have a little room.
Yeah.
I used to do that with when I worked for Full Sail and I was online and during the pandemic, I would put all sorts of things behind me that were funny to me.
You worked at Full Sail, the university, the college?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. They've been doing this. Like I started working for them back in 1981.
Wow.
And just on and off. Back then, you could just teach for a month. They had a rolling course, so they'd get new students every few months. But then the last, before the pandemic, the last 5 years, I taught there full time. But it was, I'd known the owner and since he was like a teenager almost.
What did you teach there? Did you do various things or?
Audio engineering. I taught the big studios, the ones they use to kind of sell your parents on whether it's
It's like legit, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, people my age, we grew up in those. So younger people haven't really spent a lot of time in really large studios, and I don't think they ever will because
Nowadays you can just do it at home. You do everything on your computer.
There's just no reason. Like when Billie Eilish makes a record in her bedroom.
Yeah. No point anymore.
Yeah, and it's incredibly sounding. The record sounds just great.
I went through and I opened like a Google Forms and a bunch of people submitted stuff, and I
Right.
picked from that, and then some of them are for me. So if you want to just go through this list with me together, and we'll go through a little journey. All right. I want to open with this. This one was asked by a lot of people. Actually, a lot of people want to know what the actual story behind you getting the part for Beach Bear was. I remember hearing some sort of story about something about you having stage fright or something to that effect.
Well, here was the thing. I mean, Aaron used to tell this story, and you know who I'm speaking of when I say Aaron. Yeah. So I was starting to engineer in the big studio. I started out there just doing programming of the movements.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then I moved to the studio because they didn't have an engineer, and I was kind of the closest thing to it. And I was probably about 19. So I'd been working in studios for about 3 years. So I had some experience in the studio. And so anyway, then Aaron hears me do one of my songs, and he's kind of shocked because he wasn't expecting my voice to be like that. And so he went and got like Fats and Jeff Howe and brought him in and said, listen to this guy play. And of course, putting me on the spot like that, I went from singing like I normally sing to singing like that.
Yeah.
And they're all looking at him like, you said this guy could sing. I don't know if you've ever seen the Warner Brothers cartoon where the frog sings.
Oh, yeah.
And so and he does a little dance but he only does it for the one guy.
Yeah.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal.
And then anyone else is too shy.
Right. So that was the beginning of that story.
That's fun. I had no idea that you worked on like the programming side of things, because I think one of the questions here was like, how much did you get to like work with the actual robots? I had no idea that you were like actually involved with that before you did any music stuff.
Yeah, that was the thing I was hired for, and Aaron again had this idea that it didn't really require a lot of technical knowledge. It just required somebody who was musical, and hopefully visual as well. So yeah. So he hired me when I was really young, really 19, which may not seem really young, but after
anonymous person wants to ask, how much of the Rock-afire shows were scripted versus how much was improv?
We went through periods, and sometimes, I mean, even when we had the scripts, we used them as guides, but then during a few of them, we started just really improvising, and then after that, we relied on mostly improv. Once you felt like you had a pretty good understanding of your character,
and how they would interact with each other, and you can just get into a room and goof off for a little bit.
And that's exactly what we did all the time.
Because I know there's at least one or two show tapes that are out there that like we know are just completely, you just did it in one take and we're like, that's it. That's good.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and in fact, I was always of the side that thought, the more mistakes that are human, the more realistic the characters would look.
Exactly. Yeah.
It kind of brings some humanness to an otherwise robotic character.
Yeah. And I know, at least for me, that was like the thing that got me into the Rock-afire. It was like the first one that I like sat down really and listened to was Guitarzan. And the bits that y'all are doing in the beginning of that one is so like, it was just like, these are just people like goofing off, and that's so much fun to me. And that immediately endeared me to the characters.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it as well. Like when we started doing that, we were getting requests to put out about 40 minutes of music and programming per month, and at that point we realized we couldn't be meticulous, and so it seemed to work out actually better, because we called that bulk out. So we would just bulk, and any song we thought was funny, like Guitarzan, we'd go in and just
do it.
just do it and laugh. And almost everybody played an instrument, so we could kind of record it, mostly live.
Someone said, how did the idea to have Beach Bear constantly change the third day of Christmas come about? And I was curious about that, because I was like, that feels like a very improvised like show that you did, but at the same time, I would never be able to come up with 12 different things off the top of my head.
Well, I did not come up. Yeah, that was scripted.
Okay.
So, but we thought it would be funny if I never, if Beach Bear never actually repeated his line, because the song repeats, as you know.
It's a very repetitive song, yeah.
Very, very repetitive and long song, so it just seemed like the character, and the character's kind of based on my own quirks.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm quirky enough to get tired of hearing repeated lines, and I'll start messing with them.
Yeah.
Because I'm bored.
Yeah. There's two questions here that I think fit it out really good, because I think it was me personally. I wanted to know, how much of your characterization of Beach Bear, like, drew influence from Aaron's version of Beach Bear, and how much of it, or, like, did you do that at all, or were you just like, I'm gonna do my own thing, you know, kind of disregard what was there before?
Yeah, I think I disregarded it because I think his version of it was, you know, I think I went the other way with it. Like, he had almost an anti-intellectual.
Yeah. Very loud, very kind of dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I went the other way because, in fact, my business card that I had at Creative Engineering was Yang Bailey, because I was the yang of everybody's yin.
That's fun.
Yeah, so, and yeah, I'm just contrary. I'm a contrarian.
They wanted to know, they wrote down, has Beach Bear's vibe affected your vibe, or has your vibe affected Beach Bear's vibe?
Yeah, interesting question.
Yeah.
Yeah, because just like any character that you're doing,
they stay with you a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, you know, like anybody who's done, you know, a long television series, you know, it's hard for them, like say Jennifer Aniston. She always seems like the girl from Friends with a different, but I mean, she carries off the same sort of persona. Yeah, I mean, she's a good actress, but like the core of her is in all those characters that she does. So yeah, I guess that's as close as I can get to that.
Yeah. I wanted to ask, because I feel like, I mean, you have your own solo stuff, you do stuff with other bands too. Does it ever get like annoying to be known as like the Beach Bear guy? Do you wish like your other accomplishments were?
No.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is, this was so long ago. You know, this was in the 80s. So it was, we thought it was really cool back then. We thought it was kind of cutting edge, that style of entertainment. And just like a lot of things that are cutting edge in art and music, and it takes some years before somebody goes, oh, that was different. That was the beginning of something different in the process. You know, now it seems like so music production it used to be very focused on performance, and it is still with the vocals, but even that, it's more about the sound of it, so the sound of the recording. Now it almost tells you what year it was. It's a different art form.
Yeah.
Than it was. You know, it used to be a performance art form, and then you know, the recording studio came along and became part, like an equal player in the process. And now the recording studio, or the laptop as it were, is now the main focus, and the performance you can kind of fix. You know, you don't have to be you don't have to be Adele.
Yeah, you don't have to do a billion takes, you know, you can, there's pitch correction now, yeah.
Yeah, you can get by, and nobody will know it's not, you know.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you can tweak it a little bit and it still sounds normal.
Yeah. You know? This comes from someone named Gogurt. Did you ever think that this role would be something someone would latch onto, or did you expect his legacy to disappear? Were you surprised to find that there were still people appreciating your work in the modern day?
Oh, absolutely. This is just like, really?
Yeah, this is it.
Like, you know, people, you know, roughly your age.
People younger than me, people, like, I know people who are like 14 who are like, I love the Rock-afire Explosion.
No, to me, that's what we wanted. back then, we wanted people to enjoy it, on a, not just a child, going and playing video games and whatever at the pizza place. We wanted, the adults to at least be entertained somewhat. So,
would you say that the Rock-afire was more like there for the adults of the place so that the kids could run off, or?
Yeah, we really tried to gear it, so it would appeal to both. Like, for instance, old Warner Brothers cartoons back in the 40s and 50s where they would show them before the feature film. And so the audience was on two levels. It had to be interesting to younger people, and it had to be interesting to older people. And they didn't have to, it didn't have to be blatant. It was just like you could put in a little joke that only old people would get.
Yeah, because that was definitely like the appeal to me of the Rock-afire over like Chuck E. Cheese, and I still like Chuck E. Cheese as a concept, but like I can't get into the characters nearly as much because I feel like they're especially now they're very like corporate, I'm like, oh, we're doing it for the kids, and it's like, well, it's not for me,
But I mean, that's like a marketing decision. Whereas the marketing decision for Showbiz Pizza in the Rock-afire was more of a family style. So like even in the music that we were doing, it wasn't the hits of that time. It was ones that say somebody's parents listened to. When they were, or their grandparents or whatever, because like, as I imagine if your grandparents were around, they took you places.
Yeah.
I have two kids who are 30 and 26. And, and I'm always checking out what they're listening to, like, because they will listen to any era of music, and like if it appeals to them, they like it.
Yeah,
they're just used to a broader range of production style, which that's what this is. It's production style. So they can hear beyond, they can hear the actual song beyond the production of it.
Yeah. Here's a fun one. Meatfire Explosion asks, 30,000 lions versus 30,000 beach bears, who wins?
Where's Beach Bear? Because, they don't exist, and therefore, if they do exist, I'm going to give them superhuman powers or super bear powers. I guess there are some videos out there of the characters without their fur. And to me, that was the most frightening thing. When I started programming the animals, I was on the night shift.
Oh boy.
So I was all alone in this warehouse with these creepy animals. I mean, they didn't move until you made them move.
Yeah, but trying not to bring up a certain game right now.
It was very, to me that was shocking. As far as all the recordings, I guess maybe people wouldn't know that we were often all together at the same time. Like that doesn't usually happen in modern recording. But for a good amount of the time we recorded, we all got together and sang together, which was that was fun and not something you hear a lot of anymore.
Yeah, some named Battle asked who mixed the songs for the Rock-afire, and were all the vocals on different tracks?
Oh yeah, all the vocals most of the time were on different tracks, unless like the New Year's show, everybody was on a different track, but there was a lot of bleed because we were all in the same room. And, but yeah, I did quite a bit of the mixing, like between myself and Fats, we're both responsible for most of the mixing.
Interesting. Pipsqueak asks, are there any songs that you wish the Rock-afire covered that you didn't? I'm putting you on the spot a little bit.
Well, I mean, like, I'm just thinking, like, pretty much anything past the year 2000, there are a lot of good songs that came out after that we didn't
get around to, yeah.
Yeah, well, at that point, we weren't really we would do a project now and then, but wasn't very often. So our heyday, the amount when we were recording the most was in the 1980s and up until like the mid 1990s.
If I think this is something a lot of people asked, if you were to be approached to like reprise your role nowadays, would you do it? Would you?
Oh yeah.
Would you come back and make some more stuff? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron will get in touch with me now and then and say, "Hey, can you do this?" And I'm like, "Sure." But it's fun.
Yeah.
We go back so far now. Like, our kids are older than we were.
Yeah.
So for us, it's just like old times.
Yeah.
Having fun and remembering that it's all about the fun.
Yeah. Someone wants to know if you have a personal Rock-afire collection.
Well, my wife does. She likes it. And then like she'll play stuff that I haven't heard since I recorded it. And that's kind of fun.
Would you say she's a bigger fan than you are?
Oh yeah. But that's great. She just she does like that kind of entertainment, which it's pretty there's not a lot of social message to it.
It's just fun. Studio 18 wants to ask, what were your feelings about concept unification? And I personally want to ask if you have any thoughts on Chuck E. Cheese 2.0 and how they're getting rid of all the animatronics.
Well, those are business decisions.
Yeah.
That Chuck E. Cheese, it's not, personally, I think there's a place for animatronics, but right now it's kind of out of style. But let's face it, it'll go back in style, something like it.
Yeah. 'Cause I mean, everyone thinks robots are cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do. I still think they're cool.
Yeah. I think it might, personally, I just feel like it's because it's of the era that it feels outdated, and people are like, oh, we don't want that anymore, But like, I think we'll come back with like more advanced stuff, and it'll come back into style.
That's what I think, and you put your own take on it, like there'll be some interactive things, certainly with AI. You can have it can program on the spot, probably. So you can have the character answer your questions just as if we are doing this interview right now.
Yeah.
And if you program in the personality,
soon all of us will be obsolete.
Well, I'm almost that way just because of age.
You don't have much to worry about.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm out of here soon.
I'm out of here soon, so yeah, good luck with it.
This one was another one I got a lot, and you don't have to answer this if this is like something that is you don't feel like it's your place. A lot of people want to know, because there's like this very popular interpretation of Beach Bear that he is some form of LGBT, and a lot of people asked if what your take on that was.
I'm great with that. I always have been a big supporter of LGBT movement, like from the beginning. And yeah, just in general, I find that the community is there. They seem a little more interested in art, in general. They do acknowledge it more than, say, the bass fishing community. And when I was a youngster, I used to bass fish, but I became interested in other stuff. So yeah, I'm happy that that any way that can be a positive thing, I'm all for it.
Cool. I personally wanted to know, are you aware of the modern day places where you can go see the Rock-afire? There's some like independently owned venues that have the stage still.
I know of a few, but apparently there's some legal thing with Aaron, so I kind of try and stay out of it because I'm friends with Aaron.
So you've never visited any of them?
I saw one in Tennessee, but I haven't really been out to see any others. I mean, kind of like to, but again,
the legal reasons, yeah.
I mean, not that I think that matters anymore to me, but whatever.
Yeah. It's a maybe in the future, as it comes. Oh, I have two questions that I've always wanted to ask if I ever did an interview. First one is, what's a question you wish I would ask you?
Let's see. How about my recipe for the dinner I made last night?
What'd you have for dinner last night?
No, I had like chicken and vegetables actually, but
Casual stuff.
I like to just chat about normal things, things that affect your daily life.
I wanted to ask actually, how much have you ever done an interview about Rock-afire stuff before, or?
Yeah. I can't think of specifics, but yeah, it's always.
I'm sure back in the '80s, it's more of a thing people wanted than now.
Right, and then there was a movie, I guess back in the mid 2000s, which by that point we hadn't really no one knew of who we were because we'd already come and gone, and then somebody got interested enough to make a feature film, documentary style, and so when that started happening, then we got more interest, and so there would be more people wanting to know more about it. I just thought it was odd that anyone even made one.
That was an interesting time in the fan space too, because I feel like that was only when it was people who grew up with it who were like, hey, I remember this still and I still care about it, and that was kind of the people that were in the fandom at the time.
Right.
But now it's just like this whole new generation of kids, basically, again, and I think that's interesting.
Yeah, to me, that, like, this is more the audience that I enjoy anyway. Having been a teacher at the university level, you're the age group that I find most interesting, because you have definitely your own ideas. You don't sound like all the old people in my neighborhood. That's why I like this core of people your age, because you see it as like a different thing than a child, and you see it as a different thing than an old person sees it as, like, kind of tired technology. And I think your group sees it as, well, this is a piece of entertainment, that is kind of unusual.
Someone asked if you could change any of the characterization that you did for Beach Bear, what would you change?
Well, I have a very stilted style of speaking, and yeah, it's very hard for me to listen to myself speak, record, when I'm listening back to the recording, because I kind of sound like I am right now, which is stumbling. But then again, when I look at the character, I think, well, it's kind of all right, because it does make him seem not corporate at all.
Yeah. Extremely nonchalant, yeah.
Yeah. So I really can't stand to hear myself speak, but
Are you bad with that on recording? You can't hear your own. I'm terrible with that.
Well, I mean, I can hear it. I just can't. I don't want to hear it. There's nothing. It's almost continually you sit and critique what you're doing and say, oh man, this is just, it's horrible. But when I'm doing, like, when I'm singing, especially for Beach Bear, I just didn't pay attention at all to the way it sounded. I just thought, I'm just going to make this, I'm going to go for it. Just as, and kind of exaggerate everything I did. And I still do that even when I'm playing in bands. I prefer that go for it sound. Even if you're not quite hitting the note, or if it's all shredding while you're singing it.
Yeah.
I like.
All right, I've got another uncomfortable one, and then I'll let you off the hook. And then the other ones are easy. I don't know if you're aware of this. Beach Bear, the character, has a certain effect on some people. And a couple people asked what your thoughts were on the crushes that people are having on this character.
Well, I'm flattered. And it is. It's fun, like, especially because that's not the way I look. So,
Yeah.
like,
Would you prefer if they were crushes on you?
No, I think I'm too old for that. I mean, at that age of my life, I was like a rock guy.
Yeah.
I still have long hair,
Yeah.
but now it's just accidental. I just forget to go to get it cut.
I mean, it still looks good, so.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, so it is strange, like, in that. So my wife, for instance, she, whatever it is, she likes the way I sound singing. So it does something for her. So I don't quite understand that, because I don't have that.
Especially because it's yourself,
Yeah, I just think of, like, but she'll play, some song I recorded, 30 years ago, and and there'll be a video, and how I looked 30 years ago, you know, that's the way she thinks of me. You know, that, like, because she knew me 30 years ago. So yeah, it's weird to me because I just don't. Although I will tell you one thing, I did see a band when I was in like my mid-20s, and it was a group of women. One of them was not a particularly good-looking woman, but when she sang Aretha Franklin, I just, like, it hit me right in the heart. I just all of a sudden thought, wow, she is beautiful.
So sometimes that's what it is. It's the voice or the personality that really, like, gets to you more than the looks on someone.
Yeah, it's definitely that. And so I do understand that experience, you know, that it's, there are some voices that, you know, just the way they hit you, it's like ASMR or whatever. Like, it just hits you. You know, there's whatever it is, it's doing something to me.
If you were going to, if you wanted to bring the Rock-afire into any other medium or format, what would you have it be?
Yeah, that would be interesting. Well, I mean, I guess it would be interesting to see it as anime.
Specifically, like Japanese style anime, or
yeah. I mean, because, you know, I do find that art form kind of interesting now. It's definitely influenced a lot of what we see. So yeah, I think that would be an interesting look.
We'll get the fan artists on that.
Yeah.
Someone wanted to ask this, and then I also realized I really wanted to know this. I personally think it would be really funny if the events of Framed were canon for Beach Bear.
Oh.
And I wanted to know if you've ever thought about that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, from the first time I heard that song, you know, it's such a visual, you know, and yeah, I would really like to see that, you know, and like on a screen of some sort, like just to see how that all looked.
I think, would you say it's in character for Beach Bear to have done all that stuff?
To what?
To have done all the stuff that he's accused of.
Absolutely. You know, if I were, it was kind of based on, you know, who I was. I mean, it was always in fun, but tended to get out of hand.
This is another one that if I ever interviewed someone, this would be something I wanted to ask. If you were to die and have your ashes turned into a record, what song would be on the record?
Well, it's really pretty much clear to me because there's a songwriter named John Prine, and let me see. Yeah. I'm just gonna play this. This is what it is.
Go for it. Yeah.
Could be on this. Yeah, this make the record make my ashes into this record. Woke up this morning, put on my slippers, walked in the kitchen and died. Oh, what a feeling when my soul went through the ceiling and on up into heaven I did rise. When I got there, they didn't say, Ricky, it happened this way. You slipped on the floor and hit your head. All the angels say just before you passed away. These were the very last words that you said. Please don't bury me in the cold, cold ground. I'd rather have them cut me up, pass me all around. Give my brain to a hurricane. Blind can have my eye. Deaf can take both of my ears if they don't mind side. Give my stomach to my walk if they run out of beer. Put my socks in the cedar box and just get them out of here. Venus de Milos can have my arms. Look out, I got your nose. Sell my heart to the jumping and give my love to Rose.
I love that.
It's a better way to dispose of a body than like
Just putting it somewhere.
putting it somewhere in a box. Give my stomach to Milwaukee if they run out of beer. Because I believe your body is just this thing that you are in,
And then you're not.
and you're not.
Yeah. Well, that's all my questions. Thank you for getting existential with me for a second.
Oh, I love all that. Yeah.
This has been a huge pleasure.
Vice versa. You really you're good at this.
Am I?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. I don't know how to end it. I never know how to end
Okay,
this
this
thing.
is good. Really nice to meet you.
Really nice to meet you too.
Great to have a chat. Yeah, like I said, you really have a way of doing this. I think you're good.
Thank you.
So, yeah.
Well, I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Vice versa. And interview some more people. I'd like to see it.
All right. If I ever get the opportunity, I definitely will.
Okay. Well, you have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Okay.
See ya.
See ya.